Joining us live is the former White House Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley. Hogan, good to see you today, Hogan. So, looking back at DOGE, what did Musk achieve at the White House?
Exposed a lot of what we all thought was a reality, and that is a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse, misspending, misusing the American tax dollar to the tune of billions of dollars. He exposed it. Now Congress has the opportunity to root it out. There's no doubt in my mind the House and the Senate and the White House are poised to make some massive cuts and get rid of some of those dollars that have gone into just ridiculous programs over the past several decades, all of which are geared and designed to pay for massive left-wing programs. If you think about it, every dollar he exposed, all the mess ups, all the mistakes, all the things that went on purpose to different entities, not one of them went to a conservative outlet. Nothing to promote pro-Second Amendment groups, pro-life groups. All those dollars went to radical left-wing ideologies, and for him to expose that, I think, has left his mark on the government.
So, could just help us understand from here, though, what did he find that hadn't been found before?
Well, a lot of the things Congress was looking for, the departments wouldn't give them. The USAID numbers, right out of the gate, you're talking about tens of billions of dollars they realized were going to these weird pet projects and weird places, countries that no one ever heard of, and why we're paying for them made no sense. Now we see them, and now Congress has the ability and the authority to codify those cuts into law, whereas the next president who comes in can't just turn the spigot back on and give the funds back to their left-wing ideologies and their left-wing projects. Instead, they'd have to pass a law to refund them. That is a huge success, not just for DOGE and for this administration, but for Congress as well.
What about Social Security rorting? Was there much in that space?
Seems like there were quite a few people that were receiving Social Security paychecks and dollars that didn't deserve them, whether they were dead, whether they were too old, obviously on the rolls, in error. These are things that happen when the government gets this big. And having the spotlight shown on them by someone like Elon Musk, who didn't just have the talent, but also had the ability, had the algorithms, the data finding to get this information and then expose them. Now, the exposing it doesn't fix anything. What you have to do now is come behind and codify it, which is exactly what Congress is going to do with the next step of legislation.
Okay, so Elon had a parting shot of sorts on the way out, criticising Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. As you just saw there, you can't be both, he says. Now that he's back in the private sector, would you expect more barbs to come?
You know, look, I think anyone who's in the government has a restriction of what they say and do. Obviously, some of that legal, some of that just you're supposed to be more tight-lipped. So chances are he'll be a little bit more vocal. But get this, just I don't want to get too wonky here. But the one big, beautiful bill cannot include DOGE cuts, because if it did, you couldn't get the bill through the reconciliation process. It would trigger 60-vote threshold in the Senate as opposed to 51 like the reconciliation bill has now, which makes it impossible to pass because Democrats aren't going to vote for any America First policies. No question about that. So with these massive cuts to the government spending, the most in this planet's history, at least in the last 30 to 50 years, we're seeing massive reductions in spending. On top of that, the thing that he cited as being adding to the debt and deficit doesn't take into account the tariff money that we're pulling in, doesn't take into account the fact the CBO has been wrong time and time again and is not including the growth of this economy as well. And they've been wrong on a whole host of things. They're mostly a liberal front group, in essence, 85% contributing to Democrat causes. But whether it was the Inflation Reduction Act, Obamacare, they were wrong about that. They were wrong about the first tax cuts under Trump as well. So Elon's not quite, I don't think, informed in totality on where this bill is going to take the country. But remember, this isn't the end of this. It's the start. And so as DOGE continues to uncover things, in addition to what they already have uncovered, Congress is now going to act, and you're going to see some massive restructuring of this federal government.
Just let's close out on this point. And the breaking news this morning that Donald Trump's global tariffs are back on after a court of appeal overturned the decision yesterday to block them. Let's close out with your thoughts on this.
Obviously, Donald Trump ran on this issue. He won on this issue. He wants other countries to pay their fair share. If we, the theme for the campaign was common sense, but it was also fairness. And whether it's men and women's sports or paying too much for prescription drugs compared to other countries or tariffs, if they put a 20% tariff on us, it stands to reason we could put a 20% tariff on them. The wrangling is going to continue with the court order, but this is clearly a victory for the president of the United States. And Congress did give him authority and voted on and got through the emergency declaration. So, he seems to be in good shape here, but we'll see how it plays out in the courts.
Yeah, we'll see. Good to see you, Hogan. Thank you.
You
Chat
too.
to you soon.
Thanks.